Real Men, Real Talk podcast with Kenny and JG. Another opportunity for us to dig deep, have some good conversations. These are always some eventful chats.
Do you really like having deep conversations? Because the last deep conversation we had, I think you was mad at me for like 2 weeks.
I wouldn't say I was mad at you for 2 weeks. I just thought that I wasn't prepared to have certain questions asked in front of others. He timed his questions perfectly in front of some of my college peers. And
you the one that said mask off, so I was like, take the mask off. Let me help you.
But he has a way of giving the JG framing of a situation, and I had to kind of help and give him a little bit more of the actual other side of it with some context. So I
don't think he liked. You know what? I don't think he liked really, and it wasn't really. I wasn't even trying to put you on the spot. I was just trying to get another person's opinion of the situation, and then he was like. But anyway, are you still mad at me? I just want to know. Are you mad today?
No, I'm not mad today. I wasn't mad then. I just think that
you didn't speak to me for 3 days.
It was not accurate. I don't have a choice. I don't have a choice to not speak to.
But you know, normally you'd be like, "Hey, guy, what's up, my guy?" I called you and say, "Hey, what are you doing?" Nothing.
Well, tell them why. Share why someone would get to a space where they want to not have much conversations. I think when you agree that trust is something that you just really, if you take that seriously, you are like,
let's don't start this conversation. Okay, so who we have? Now you're gonna say trust? We ain't even gonna go there.
That's my point. And here's the thing: over the last couple of days, he's still throwing it out there. So how am I supposed to get over that? How am I supposed to heal? How am I supposed to move on? And he asks me every day, "Oh, you talking to me today?" Well, if you stop throwing up the concept or bringing me back to where we fell out, then I could get over it.
I didn't fall out, so like that's on you. Anyway, so we got a guest here today.
Yeah, we do.
And who do we have here today?
We have the Lenny Thomas. I'm gonna put the, not just because we in Columbus and they always want to say like the Ohio State and all that other stuff, right? Yeah. But I do want to say it's the Lenny Thomas. He is
like Lenny Thomas to me.
He's an actor, producer. He's doing some incredible things, and we're grateful that you even stopped through and took a few minutes to come hang out with us, man. So, Absolutely. How you feeling today?
I feel great. I just came back from speaking to a bunch of bright, up and coming Black youth.
You came back from speaking at the Academy for Urban Scholars, which is a part of our institution.
Academy of Urban Scholars.
So let's don't downplay where you came from.
Yeah, very true, very true. And every time I get a chance to talk to young folk and they're curious, it just invigorates whatever I do next. So now I'm even more hyped to have this conversation because I was looking forward to this. The second I learned about this incentive, it's really dope. So thank you guys for having this and open up this dialogue.
So you're a Black man,
yes, sir.
And our conversation is geared towards Black men.
Mm-hmm.
We call it Real Men, Real Talk, and we try to get men to understand it's okay to talk because Black men don't really open up and talk. And mental health is a big issue, particularly in the state of Ohio. The governor has said it is the number 2 issue as it relates to issues in the state of Ohio. But you're pretty successful. Let people know what are some of the stuff you're doing. You're on this show now called Rufus.
Yes,
it's X-rated, right?
There's some episodes are.
It's edgy.
It is a wild show. It's about this crazy religious cult that believes that they are the second coming of whatever the world is supposed to be. But it's really a guise for them money laundering and human trafficking. And it's the story of a woman who believed in this lie, and then through some traumatic course of events, oh wow, I made a mistake, and it's the story of her trying to escape this cult. And I play one of the enforcers of the cult. My character is a dark, crazy sociopath who believes so much in his cult leader that he'll do anything to protect it and him. So yeah, it's the most challenging role I've ever had to play because I'm such a creature of light. To play such a creature of darkness, Yeah, it can weigh on you. It really can. Yeah, but
I was actually going to say something, but I'm going to go ahead. No, I was going to throw a joke out there. I was like, man, that character sounds familiar, but go ahead.
Okay, now.
Uh-oh.
All right,
Lenny.
So tell me, I can't even talk. So tell me, you said you're a creature of light.
Yes.
But first of all, what's your birth sign?
I'm an Aries.
Are you an Aries?
Yeah, I know your favorite people.
Usually not creatures of light.
Unfortunately.
But so tell me, have there ever been any moments in your life, like, Kenny and I have this chance to always kind of share with each other or share with audiences of things that we are going through. So like, after living in this universe for a number of years, I wake up one day and I'm blind. And I never thought that this would be me because I had my life all planned out. And I thought that, I would just be on easy street right now. And so I had to learn life all over again as a blind person. It means I had to get dressed myself and learn how to navigate and stuff. Have there ever been any moments in your life where you got to a space and you were like, oh, this is kind of messed up?
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh. In fact, I'm just pulling out of one as of this year, and it's wild because it seems to happen to a lot of people who reach a certain level of success. Like one of my good friends who was on the show Atlanta, soon after his career exploded, his mother passed away in a car accident. Right? It's like it's almost as if the thing that maybe release you from a certain chapter in your life will also trigger some challenging events, right? And loss is, it's something we all have to deal with in our lives, but a certain type of loss, I feel like we shouldn't have to go through. Like you shouldn't bury your parent because, they died in a car crash, right? I shouldn't have had to bury my friend because she took her own life. You know what I mean? And that's what I'm recovering from now. Right? So boom, the show came along 4 years ago and my life exploded. I became this public figure, making more money than I ever thought I would in my life, right? People know who I am, right? And I'm just building my career. And then the worst thing that possibly could have happened to me, outside of me losing my own life, happened. My best friend took her life. Love of my life only, not just best friend, but she was the love of my life, right? Now, mind you, we weren't in a relationship at the time that this happened, but I was still very much in her life. I was, she helped grow this young man into a grown man, this young boy into a grown man, right? She accelerated my growth. Just proximity to her showed me who I really was outside of whatever my dreams were. I was a healer like she is. I was a creature of light like she is, right? And she challenged me to step to that. And but she was also hiding that she was dealing with severe depression, right? Which I thought was unfair because we shared everything. You know what I mean? Like she saved me from my darkness so many times, and I didn't get the chance to do that with her, right, or for her. And when she made that ultimate choice to free herself, that's what she said in her. She had a suicide note to her father, and her father let me read it. That was the only thing she felt she could do to free herself from her self-perceived prison. And to this, it's something I'm to deal with for the rest of my life. Like there's guilt and shame that come with that. Like, for the longest I was thinking, what could I have done to save this woman's life? But if she was gonna make that choice, no one could have saved her, right? We could have intervened, but it might have just prolonged it from happening. Me holding on to the guilt of losing her is not going to help where I'm trying to head still. Like, I still have to live my life. You know what I mean?
But don't you think, and Kenny, I'm going to ask you this. So what she did is what we're trying to get men not to do.
Yes.
And that's to mask.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
So
yes.
Can you talk about our mask off campaign?
Yeah, I'm so glad that you first of all, thanks for sharing that,
that
story and being real. And that self-disclosure is something that we've been able to, over the last few months, expose a lot of men to across this country, because there's just not enough of us self-disclosing,
Yeah.
so that we can even invite another brother to do the same and actually help them through some of those dark times. Talk therapy is powerful, and talk therapy really works. And our men may not want to go and sit one-on-one with a therapist, but if we have a safe environment that we've created in about 9 cities across this country, and you attend one of our Real Men Real Talks, you'll find that you're welcome and you're greeted by brothers that they're not going to judge you.
Yeah.
And this whole mask off campaign that we are doing this year has really made a lot of impact, because we're helping brothers identify what's on the front of that mask. Like, for number one, why are you masking? And number two, what are you masking with? You know, a lot of men are masking with, you know, their sports careers, or they're masking with the fact that they have this big fancy job, or, you know, the amount of money that they're making. But behind the mask, that's where we really challenge our brothers to dig deep. Yeah. What's behind the mask that we don't see? And then how can we help you introduce the true, authentic self to yourself, and then turn around and do the exact same thing to the rest of the world? So Eric Roberson, the R&B singer, he graciously blessed our organization with an actual song that's unreleased that is titled Masks, and it's talking about identifying, like, hold on a second, like, I've been lying to myself. I've been wearing this mask. I am not who I'm portraying I am, but I am now deciding today to identify who I am, introduce the true person to myself, and then say, hey, world, here's the real me. Yeah. And so brothers are doing this month in and month out, where Mr. Gregory and I, JG and I, we are getting into a room and we're just being real. And brothers left and right are saying, man, I've never shared some of these things that I'm sharing with you guys tonight, but because of this environment, because you guys have even challenged me to identify what I'm masking with, I'm willing to take my mask off tonight and be my real authentic self.
So, Lenny, I'm going to ask you, you like, not today. I'm going to ask you, if when you think about your life and you think about your friend and you think that's about the stuff that she was dealing with, have you ever found yourself, or do you feel like you're masking, and are there things that you feel like, you know what, I really need to release myself from this?
Yeah, one of them was the guilt, thinking I could have saved her. You know what I mean? Thinking I could have done anything to prevent that from happening. Another is thinking I have to hide.
Because you know, a lot of people carry around a lot of guilt. About stuff that they thought they could control or they could intervene. And the truth of the matter is, a lot of stuff you can't control or intervene. And you have to let yourself be free of that. But a lot of people, particularly when there are situations, and I tell people all the time, you know, when people die or something happens, and people ask me, I say, I don't feel guilty because I try to treat people good all along the way. So I don't have no regrets when a person passed. But a lot of times people hold on to guilt because they know there was something else that they could have done. But even if there was something else you could have done and you didn't do it, you don't need to hold yourself guilty to it. You need to let yourself go and understand that this is just a natural part of life. Things do happen, and they happen to you. And when you realize things happen to you, you really learn to give yourself power, not to let them things paralyze you. And so I think that like Kenny, you know, always shares that the fact that he is a perfectionist, and that his perfectionism, you know, paralyzes him sometimes, and because it paralyzes him, then it impacts other places in his life. And I think that, you know, having you here today and being able to share with other black men is that, do you feel like there's any other areas that you get paralyzed in?
Oh man,
yeah. You ready for this conversation?
I get paralyzed. Oh yeah, I love being a fish out of water. Like this morning, I felt paralyzed, like as if I didn't know, you know, how to be effective with the kids, right? How to you know, utilize my own experiences, alchemize that, and then give them something that they can latch onto. It's in terms of how they can grow themselves. Like I'm forgetting who I am, right? And kind of having to play this game of like head tricking. You know what I mean? Like, wait a second, no, you are this person. You are, affirming myself, right? Instead of letting the feelings, which are like clouds, overtake me. No, let the cloud pass and get back to the real. The real is I have a voice, I have strength, I can empower people. And that's why they brought me here. So, boom, don't forget who you are. And then I get in front of them, and all of that nonsense I was telling myself disappears because I see so much light in their eyes. I'm like, how dare I not step and, empower these people through what I've been through. You know what I mean? How dare I not? I have, we are wizards in that sense. Like, we can literally inspire people to become whatever it is they want. And I even showed them a video. My friend influenced this young girl when she was 8 years old. This is like 2019. Gave her a tour after she performed, after she performed The Lion King on Broadway, right? Gave her a backstage tour. Made the 3 girls that they came with her, that she gave the tour to, stand on the stage, look into the audience, into the seats, and visualize a crowd full of people cheering them on after they just performed. And one of those little girls is now Nala in the show on Broadway. 4 years to the day that Sharon gave her that tour.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? So Sharon instilled those kinds of powers in me. She woke that person up in me. So now here I am doing it for this class full of beautiful young folk. And, though she's gone, she's not. Her spirit is very much alive inside of me. And I get to carry her legacy on. You know what I mean? That is an honor beyond honor.
That's powerful.
Yeah.
I think there's something that you said that is key that I want to extract out of there is when you were trying to get out of that state of paralysis, like, okay, what am I going to say? How am I going to impact these incredible young scholars? You said something that just really jumped out to me. And you said, don't forget who you are. And I think that there's often times, and I know from my battles with, being stuck because I want it to be perfect and I want things to be done at the highest level a certain way. I can't forget. Sometimes people see more in me than I see in myself.
Yeah.
And they're like, you got it. Like, dude, you super talented. Just execute.
Yeah.
But that's not what I always see. And that's definitely not what I always feel. Yeah. But to remind myself on a daily basis, don't forget who you are. And don't forget that you are more than worthy of this moment to sow into the lives of whomever it is that you're speaking to, or that you are responsible for leading, right? Sometimes I'll question myself. Why am I in this position of leadership? Why am I the one that is at the top of this organizational chart? Like, what qualified me? And sometimes I have to remind myself that, listen, dude, like you're on an assignment, and you're not going to always, the goal wasn't to get 100%. And I got to get that out of my head sometimes. The goal was for you to do your best, and God will ultimately take care of the rest of it. Yeah. But being so critical and wanting to always just be hard on myself, it's like I will not pull a trigger, which is worse. Yeah. Because now you got nothing done. No excuse. Right? Yeah. And then you find yourself just trying to play catch up, and it's something that I've been able to, because of our Remember Talks. It has helped me tremendously. Yeah. Because I'm at a space now where I'm just keeping it 100. I've shared it internally. I've shared it because here's the thing about our organization is that we do have a real culture. Like, if you do have anything that you're trying to mask in our culture, it's gonna get unveiled.
It's coming out.
It's coming out because we're going to push you to that next level of existence, that next level of success. That whatever game or whatever BS you was playing outside of this organization, it's not going to fly over here. Like, it's going to get real intense, and it's going to be designed to make you better. Yeah. And so be careful what you ask for. Being in this position where JG, he doesn't have to deal with all of us. Like, he really has the ability and the vision to really go out here and probably do a lot more and get things done a lot quicker and faster without a lot of us. Mm-hmm. So, JG, I want to ask you, when you find yourself in those moments where you're like, oh my God, I'm trying to work with these people and I'm trying my best to be the best leader and try to show some type of grace in these certain areas. Like, what is it that burns inside of you? Kind of like how Lenny was able to say, I'm gonna take this moment to like really give these young folks something that I hope that they can latch on to, because you do have a passion for serving others, and you do have internally and externally. And so for you, you don't have to do that, but why is it that you choose to show up day in and day out? Sometimes mask on, sometimes mask off, but you do give us the authentic JG day in and day out. But why?
I think that, so let me say this. I really believe in my existence because I really believe that I was created by the Creator to be here. And so I also believe that the assignment that I have for being here was to make sure that I can give words of life to people so they can live their best life while they're on their journey here. And so God spoke to me a long time ago and said, don't take none of this personal, because it's not about you. People, particularly my people, black people, we come from a premises to me where we start off with the glass half empty, and we live in that space. And so for me, I'm having a good time. I'm going to be successful. I want to live, and I want the people around me to live. And what, unfortunately, that I found myself being in a place where people just don't believe in themselves, and they choose not to be happy than to be happy. Happiness is not an emotion; it's a choice. So I choose to be happy. And so what I said to God years ago, I said, I want to do your work, and I want to do it with people who want to do the work. And so when I started doing this work after I left my corporate job and what have you, because I am really smart. And I could be making a whole lot. I really could be making a whole lot of money, more money. Even in the context of how I do these businesses that I do, I could be really extrapolating a much larger salary than I do. But for me, life is temporary. You can't take all the material stuff with you. But what you can do is leave a legacy of life that people will hand down from their child to the next child to the next child. And so that's why I do it. And I don't take none of it personal. I mean, a lot of guys, a lot of women come with a lot of stuff. I have to say a lot of stuff. People say, well, you don't know how to talk to people. You don't know how to do this. You don't do that. But really, they call me back months later, years later, and say, what you said to me really helped me. It helped me develop. It helped me grow. And I don't really like myself sometimes for that reason. And yeah, I do have a mask. And sometimes I would just like to take my mask off and really say, like, I think I've only got one thing behind my mask. Most of y'all got about 5 or 6 things. I ain't got about one. And, I be wanting to take my mask off too. And with me saying that is, this is Real Men, Real Talk. This is a product of the African American Male Wellness Agency. And we do these events across the country with black men in the room. And we've had black men come in and reveal all kinds of things in spaces that they've never talked before. And so if you're watching this podcast and brothers, that we want you to, and you can watch this podcast in a barbershop, you can watch it in a church, you can watch this podcast and use it for a point of discussion with other black men. Because what we want to do is make sure that black men, there's a McKinsey report that Kenny refers to that said by 2030, black men would be at the bottom of the totem pole. We said not on our watch. Not one black leader in this country has really said, what are we going to do? Where is the agenda for black men? We're trying to create an agenda for black men to talk. So you join us on our Real Men, Real Talk. We're glad to have our actor Lenny here with us. He's a real actor. He has a great spirit. He's doing another project with us as he's working with our kids. And Lenny, I'm going to ask you, what do you give me 2 things you think, or give me 1 thing you think you need to do differently so you can grow bigger in the space that you're in?
I can give you 2. One is stay tapped into my tribe. I have a habit of isolating myself because it really has been hard to collaborate with like minds because it's hard to find or so it seems, hard to find like minds, like you two gentlemen. You know what I mean? This is the start of something really beautiful. Tapping into you guys will springboard my wanting to stay with my tribe.
You heard Kenny say that some days it may not be that fun with me.
Hey, that's fine. I'm not afraid of hard work.
It's all working together for your good.
Exactly.
Man.
Yeah. I was teaching the kids today about the 4 agreements. One of the agreements is don't take anything personally. It's one of my favorite ones because everyone's dealing with their perceived reality. And, I always say to myself, when someone rubs me the wrong way, forgive them, Father, for they don't know what they do. Because if they did know, they wouldn't be giving me darkness, they'd be giving me light. And I don't make people pay for how I feel. A lot of times I feel my energy's low and my morale is low, but I'm not gonna make you pay for that. I'm not gonna make you pay for that. I know how to alchemize that energy and pour positivity into you, pour affirmations into you, right? So yeah, community, staying tapped into my community, not isolating myself is one. And the other is knowing that I'm not alone in this fight for our ascension. I'm not the only one who's dealing with these struggles. And I'm not the only one looking out for us, right? Or wanting to look out for us. Like, I need to tap into you guys as often as would make sense so that we can, affect proper change, right? Because that's unacceptable. 2030, we'll be at the bottom of the... What? Nah, son, I'm glad you told me that, because now that puts another fire up under my behind.
Yep.
And because I'm like, wait, there's a mountain upon mountain of potential I know that exists in me. And I know that a very similar thing exists in each one of us. If I can help people unlock their light and their potential, then that's a fight worth fighting, right? And if I can get uber specific with that, and it is for Black men, I know the Black man experience, so I can speak power into these people better than anyone else, unless I'm talking about you, and whoever's gonna be with us. I'm including myself because I don't want this to end like ever. I'm glad I found y'all. This is, I'm glad we're around each other. It's a breath of fresh air, and literally this is keeping me from doing what I know, which is isolation, which is actually part of my acting training. An actor's job is alone and in the dark, but after the job is done, what am I doing? This is what I'm doing. This is what was missing. I was saying it to you the other day, that I've only been operating, a piece of the pie that is Lenny Thomas. If I'm only up a piece of the pie, a little slice of the pie, there's their whole pie I haven't been accessing. So what's all this other stuff? What am I missing out on? And what am I, by not taking that action, what am I robbing my people of, right? You guys are waking me up, right? And I don't want to go back to sleep. So I appreciate
powerful.
that.
That's powerful. So Kenny, as we wrap up, let me ask you the same question. Can you identify any things that you might want to say you might do differently or change? Or what have you experienced that says, hey, this is what I changed?
Oh, wow. That's a loaded question for me, because of obviously what we talked about, this whole wrestle with being, perfectionist. The one thing that I think that I have done differently is allow myself to fall short and be okay with that. Be okay with that. I've sent emails that I know that might not have been my best. I have not hindered the approval or the process of things to be held up because of my wrestle with perfectionism, and understand that, I want things to flow through me. And what I have allowed is things to actually get clogged and get stopped and get hindered by me. And I'm doing everything I can every single day to get out of that space where I am more of an open vessel and things are flowing through me. And I'm not causing things to slow down. I'm not causing things to go different directions, but only its intended purpose, whatever God has for it. And just allow that to happen. And it's a daily battle, I would say, because there's such a temptation to say, no, it's not ready yet. No, it's not ready yet. Well, sometimes things aren't just meant to be completely ready. Sometimes things are just meant to be in existence and out into the world and out into the universe, because it has an assignment too, and it has a responsibility as well. And for me, I found myself saying, you know what? It's okay for things to not always be done, because behind all of that, it's a lot of ego. It's a lot of pride.
Yeah.
And humility and being humble has really helped me get through those, I would say, tougher times when I'm wanting to backslide a little bit. Yeah. Like, nope, that's not how I want it. Yeah. Or you know what? It needs to be this way or that way. It's like, nah, let's execute.
Yeah. Imperfect action.
Yeah. So, guys, as we conclude
say that again. Say that one more time.
Imperfect action.
Imperfect action.
Better than complacency or non-action, right?
That's one thing that he has taught me. So JG has taught me that things don't have to always have these pretty bows on it. It doesn't always have to be this shiny, perfect object.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with things having a blemish here or there, but you have to take action. Yeah. You have to execute, because you can talk all day long and you can idealize and you can do all that. You can conceptualize all types of things. But if you don't execute,
it don't matter.
Nothing. It doesn't matter. Nothing's happening.
No results.
Nope.
Yeah.
And our organization is big on delivering results. And so you're talking about a person who delivered decent results, but having his mind that he wants to do all these great things. You have a person that delivers incredible results and doing great things at the same time, because he's moving with imperfect action. And I'm over here with perfect stillness.
So you like that email I sent you today?
The email I got today was an example of my perfectionism. I backslid the last 48 hours. And I knew, here's the thing, and I could have got in front of the email that I received, but I said, you know what? I'm going to take this head on. I'm going to take it head on, and I know it's coming. And when it comes, I'm going to make sure it's the last time I have to be in this space. I'm in a space right now today of being, and I'm tired of being in that space.
Yeah.
And to this week, I would say would be my week of disgust for that type of even having that attached to my name and who I am and the work that I know I can do. And so I said, you know what? I'm going to take this one head on. But I knew it was coming, because at the end of the day, he's trying to win, and he is a winner. And he's like Mayweather. He doesn't lose. All day long.
Yeah, and his percentage of attack is like 50%. If you hitting a dude, dude's getting hit 50% of the time, you swing those. Homie's gonna lose, and then he's not getting hit that much.
Man, listen, that's how JG moves too. He moves the same way. A lot of things have been thrown his way. Things are thrown at him daily, left and right, and he's bobbing and weaving, and when he strikes with such precision that his win rate is ridiculous. And so,
we got Lenny, and we got Lenny,
and you know what? That's what he does. Yeah. He probably thought about it and said, you know what? I would like to do some work with Lenny, and then a week later, you were here in Columbus and you're doing work with us.
What's really funny is that my barber introduced me to Lenny, the show and everything.
See?
And I was like, that'd be interesting. I mean, I think there's so many interesting aspects of the show, and for me, it's like even the people who are acting on it, I'm like, what's up with them people? But we're at the end of this. Lenny, we want you to come back and be a part of what we're doing.
I'd love to.
We'd like for you to join us across the country as we are having these discussions.
Oh, it's going down.
And if you know of anybody else who you like for us to, some people that you can call them up and say, hey, look, I think you should do this Real Men, Real Talk thing. We're making it safe to talk.
Yeah.
You shared it with us, a deep experience. Losing your friend to suicide. How many people out there have lost somebody to suicide and can't recover because they're still being killed? But what you told us today is that, hey, let that guilt go, because it wasn't about you. It was about that person. Kenny sharing with us what he shared with us today about the things that he's struggling with and getting stuck with, or me, consistently letting people know, I never really hadn't done, but I've been blind for 8 years. And probably in the last 45 days, I've had some emotion attached to being blind. That I keep going back and forth about how insecure. I'm not trying to be blind, but sometimes how it makes me be blind, insecure. So we appreciate that. Kitty, you want to say anything else about Real Men Real Talk, Black Men's Wellness Day, or anything else we're doing?
Absolutely. So our Real Men Real Talk community is a nationwide community of brothers. And we have a private Facebook group. You can look us up on Facebook, Real Men Real Talk. It's underneath the African American Male Wellness Agency page. We are also on Instagram, AA Wellness Agency. We have an incredible group of men that are wrapping their arms around each other so that we can walk this thing called life together. We are kicking off our Saving Black Men's Lives tour, which is on our wellness side. And that starts in April, next month, April 6th in the city of Jackson, Mississippi. And we're excited about it. And we're actually going to be in Houston, Texas on the 27th for our second annual event out there. So there's a lot of cool things happening. Follow us, aawellness.org. We are looking to partner with you. Come say hello to us on this tour. Also, if we are in your city for a Real Men Real Talk, would love to have you pull up. Have a great conversation. We're going to eat good. And until next time.
Where can they find the podcast?
So you can find the podcast on all platforms under Real Men Real Talk. It's Real Men Real Talk Podcast. And you will find JG and I having some great conversations with other individuals, influential figures across this country, similar to our good brother today, Mr. Lenny Thomas.
All right, thank you. You guys be blessed. And what I would say is, in conclusion, in my book, I wrote a book called The 8 Lessons I've Learned. But my first chapter said, it's not the end of the world. Brothers, it's not the end of the world.